So today topic of discussion is the introduction of diffusion on the perspective of material engineering sector. Here we will understand what is the basic definition of diffusion, what is the history of a diffusion, how the concept came throughout the mathematical analysis and mathematical calculation, and then also we want to know how that mathematical calculation are interpreted in physical or physics based phenomena, and what is the different material engineering related process and transformation are going to related to the diffusion process. So first you have to understand what is the history of diffusion concept. Diffusion in the nature is there. Generally we used to tell that from higher concentration to lower concentration, if certain material is moving or certain mass is moving, then it's called diffusion process. This is a one kind of mass transfer process. So that regarding that kind of concept in 1822, Fourier, Joseph Fourier actually modeled how quantity like heat it diffuses through from a given region. This is the first concept of mathematical model with respect to understanding the diffusion process. Then Adolf Fick is come into play, and he was telling that diffusion has certain governing equations, governing laws, and in 1855 he introduced Fick's laws of diffusion, which govern the diffusion of gas across the fluid membrane. He has done at that year in that year about the understanding of diffusion of gas across a fluid membrane. Later in 1905, Albert Einstein introduced a very effective relationship between diffusion constant to physically measurable quantities, such as mean square displacement of a particle in a given time interval. So first there is a correlation. Diffusion constant is with a quantity which can be measured physically, like mean square displacement and kind of things of a particle, a particular given interval is introduced by Einstein in 1905. And Einstein also analyzed a dynamic equilibrium being established between opposing forces, how these opposing forces are in the dynamic equilibrium, so that the kind of a process also can be taken in account. Now we are going to introduce the concept of diffusion, how it is important or significant with respect to materials engineering phenomena. Because diffusion are very important to understand the phase transformation, carburizing, oxidation process, sintering, doping, creep, diffusion bonding, and aging, precipitous hardening. Lot of phenomena of materials engineering sector. Many more phenomena in the materials engineering sector. Even epitaxial growth of a material, or if you are looking for any kind of surface hardening like carburizing and cyaniding and all those things, nitriding you can tell, all those things are really dependent on the process of diffusion. So the mechanistic part of those processes are really dependent on diffusion process. So the diffusion dominated phenomena, all those things. So now one by one we will understand how diffusion is related to those processes. Suppose if you are talking about phase transformation, what is phase? Phase is just like a very important definition that phase is a physically distinct, chemically homogeneous and mechanically separable part of a system. So one phase always distinct by another phase by a boundary, physically present boundary. And physically distinct you can do that with respect to structure, with respect to its certain properties, and also chemically homogeneous means all through that particular phase generally the compositions are same, so it is a chemically homogeneous. And mechanically separable means separable from other phases, other part of the system by boundary. So this is the phase. Now one phase will transform to another phase. Suppose phase 1 is transformed to another phase. So what should be the change? The change may be with respect to crystal structure. Crystal structure, the arrangement of atomic arrangement in periodically, how atomic arrangement is inside the phase, it will change. So for that, movement of the atom is required. And when our atom is moving multiple distance of lattice parameter, then there is a chance, there is a strong involvement of diffusion comes into play. So diffusion are going to play a role to change one phase to another phase, and which is very important in metallurgical engineering system or materials engineering sector. If you talk about transformation from austenite to pearlite, if you see that austenite, what is austenite? It is a interstitial solid solution of carbon in iron, or you can tell iron carbon, interstitial solution iron and carbon, or rather more precisely the interstitial solid solution of carbon in iron at when iron is in the FCC stage. It's high temperature. At high temperature it is stable. That FCC iron is stable, and that FCC, in this FCC iron, if certain percentage of carbon is present inside the interstitial sides of the things, and what is then, if it is if you are lowering the temperature, it transforms to pearlitic phase. If it is in the particular composition, certain composition, suppose eutected composition, it will transfer to the pearlitic phase. And what is the pearlitic? Pearlite. Pearlite is a mixture of ferrite, which is BCC carbon and BCC iron and carbon interstitial solid solution, and then another is cementite. It is a kind of metaphase kind of, you can tell that, and 1:7 ratio, their internal spacing is there, so their transformation is occurring. So immediately you understand that the interstitial solution of carbon in iron, and iron when is having FCC crystal structure, then it's austenite, and it transforms to the ferrite and cementite, and both are having different crystal structure. Ferrite is having BCC crystal structure, and cementite is different crystal structure. So this kind of change in crystal structure means the change in atomic arrangement, and that can be done by diffusion process, and diffusion will help to transform or movement of an atom from its one position to another position. So this is an important phenomena where the diffusion is involved if you talk about phase transformation. Now we come into very important another aspect of involvement of diffusion in metallurgical engineering or materials engineering sector, that is carburizing. Suppose, what is carburizing? Carburizing is just a thermochemical process that affects the addition of a carbon to the surface of the low carbon steel at temperature in the austenitic region, at high temperature, where the solubility of carbon is high. So now we have to understand that why carburizing is at all required. Because you need, suppose you want to prepare a gear. I have given a picture of gear. So gear need very tough, high toughness in the inner sector. So you will go for low carbon steel. But you also need very good wear resistance or resistance to the erosion or abrasion, because they're always going into friction with another material. So surface should be very hard. And we know that if you introduce carbon, more carbon in the steel, then that steel will be hardened. The hardness of the steel will be enhanced if you are going to incorporate carbon in the steel. So surface, you will take low carbon steel and you want to harden the surface, then you have to go for carburizing, because it is a thermochemical process, and which will help the addition of carbon at the surface of the low carbon steel, at the temperature of the austenitic region. Why you are going to take it into austenitic region? Because at austenite level, the percentage of carbon can be accommodated in FCC iron is very high, because FCC iron, although it is a close pair structure with respect to BCC iron, but it is having a more number of octahedral voids. But in case of BCC iron, the tetrahedral voids are there. But if you put interstitial octahedral void inside the octahedral void, the carbon atom, then there will be a symmetrical elastic strain. So it is more stable, and that's why the solubility of carbon in the FCC iron phase is much higher with respect to ferrite, because if you put carbon atom in the tetrahedral void of the BCC ferrite phase, then the asymmetric elastic strain may occur, and that actually destabilizes the thing. So accommodating higher percentage of carbon, it's not possible if you look at to introduce the carbon in a ferrite phase. That's why in order to do carburizing, you have to raise the temperature. The processing temperature general range is around 850 to 1000 degrees centigrade, and the hardening is achieved by quenching after carburizing to produce a high carbon martensite structure. Hard carbon martensite structure. Then you also understand the why martensite. That part you can understand in the later classes, but it's a very hard phase. For the time being, you just remember that is a very hard phase. So carburizing, basically carburized case hardened steel, therefore possesses a good combination of mechanical properties such as fatigue, wear resistance. Those things we will understand later. But what are the different carburizing methods? Pack carburizing, salt bath carburizing, or gas carburizing. All the carburizing methods of materials engineering sector are involves diffusion process. So diffusion, understanding a diffusion is very important in order to understand such kind of surface hardening process like carburizing. Now you can talk about the oxidation part. If you see in the picture, the oxidation part, if you see that a silicon substrate was there and it come into contact with the oxygen, and what is happening? Silicon dioxide is forming, and the original surface of the silicon is now covered with a silicon dioxide. So that's why is oxidation is. How it is oxygen atoms or oxygen are coming into contact with surface and slowly diffuse through the silicon and react with the silicon substrate and make an oxide. So this is also involved diffusion process. Now we are going to understand about sintering, how it is related to diffusion process. Sintering is a kind of agglomeration process where incipient bond or incipient fusion bonds are forming between different particles. So you can tell at a high temperature the sintering temperature is there. It can also tell as a heat treatment process, but it's basically a process, is an agglomerating process. And powder metallurgy sector is powder metallurgy processing of material or making the manufacturing process is strongly involved the sintering process. So after compaction of powder particles, to hold them together by cold wells, we have to compress to get the initially we are going to get the Kingston. After that, what is necessary to process? So you have to give the heat. So there is a sintering furnace are available that can apply accelerated cooling rates in the cooling zone, and also material grades have developed that it can transform different microstructure. So there are different kind of sintering process are there, solid state sintering also there, and there is a liquid phase sintering. Plus all are involved diffusion process. And if you see in the picture, then you can see in the volume diffusion also important, grain boundary along there, if you take individual particles as a grain when they are cold-welded, then in the individual grain there is diffusion or surface diffusion, and sometimes the plastics will. So all those things are going to take place when you are talking about, and all the things involved are now to understand about the doping,
Your voice is not
how it
clear,
is
sir.
related to
Sir, your voice is not audible,
Your
sir.
voice is not
Sir, your voice is not
clear,
audible,
sir.
sir.
net issues. So now that is a
Totally not
and
audible,
it
sir.
is a process.
Sir, I'm not able to hear you, sir.
Now
The voice is not clear, sir.
is now network is there because I am also putting a feedback. Then I am getting the voices proper. I think now it is audible.
Yes, sir, now it's
Yes,
audible.
sir.
Yes, sir.
So please. Okay. Now mute all of you and go through the lecture. So sintering, if you go for sintering process, then what you understand that there is a kind of incipient bond, and if you take individual particle as a grain, then if you see in the picture, there is a three kind of diffusion process are operative. One is surface diffusion, volume diffusion, grain boundary diffusion, a little bit of plastic flow. So in this way, the agglomeration and incipient bond for incipient fusion bond is formed during the sintering process. All are involved diffusion. So diffusion is very important. Now we are going to talk about doping. Doping basically refers to the addition of specific impurities to a semiconductor electrical properties. Why it is required? Now we want to modify the electrical properties like semiconducting materials like silicon, germanium, and all those materials. So if you do the addition of certain addition of specific impurities to a semiconductor to modify its electrical properties, then we can refer the process as a doping process. And it is under the microfabrication and is very commonly used for the material called silicon. So pure silicon is a poor conductor with a negative temperature coefficient of resistance. All of us, we know that. And due to thermal generation of electrons and holes, so doping helps in this regard exponentially increase the conductivity and also produce stable temperature independent resistance around room temperature. So doping basically altering the properties of pure silicon. You can tell altering the electrical properties of pure silicon, and dope or extrinsic semiconductors can be N-type on the nature of the impurity. To form device like transistor, diode, resistor, you have to do this kind of doping thing. So here doping also, if you see, the doping process also strongly involves the diffusion phenomena. The diffusion are very important in order to conceptualize or understand the doping process. Now we are going to talk about creep. What is constant stress or constant load, high temperature deformation process is by definition, but it is a very important thing that at high temperature, general diffusion is operating, and also depending upon the crystalline or structure of the material, microstructure of the material, if the grain size is very small, so volume of grain boundary will be higher, so chances of diffusion control process or diffusion control creep will be very high, and there is a one curve that very high. Those things we'll understand later. Just now we only concentrate that creep on process is there, which is a high temperature deformation at constant load of a material, and which really involves the diffusion process. Now we are going to understand one kind of material joining that is called diffusion. What it is? Diffusion bonding of material, basically in the solid state, is actually a process for making monolithic joint through the formation of bonds at atomic level. Again, I am repeating. Diffusion bonding of material in the solid state is a process, a certain process for making monolithic joint through the formation of bond at atomic level. Now we are going to get a constant concept of atomic level concept and atomic diffusion on this consideration. As a result of that, closure of the mating surface, two surfaces which are closer mating surface due to local plastic deformation at elevated temperature, which in turn aids interdiffusion at the surface layers of the materials being joined. Again, I am repeating. So you are seeing here interdiffusion. Why it is there? Because when the closer surfaces are meeting together, they are having very high local plastic deformation. Because the diffusion you are doing the process at high temperature. So solid state diffusion bonding, you can tell, is a process but by which two nominally flat surface can be joined at elevated temperature. And that temperature we used to take generally about 50% to 90% of the absolute melting point of the parent material using a applied pressure for a time ranging from few minutes to even few hours. You should remember that applied pressure applying time, the ranging from few minutes to few hours. And there are a lot of different way or very important technique in the sector of materials joining, and many more things: precipitated hardening, aging process, dispersion strengthening. Lot of process are going to dependent on diffusion process if you talk about material engineering sector. So understanding diffusion is very significant, very important in order to understand the different processes, different technology, as well as different transformation process involved in a materials engineering sector. Now we have to understand one of the most fundamental process that governs formation of materials and material technology process occur is the diffusion. That we understood. That diffusion now it is important in a materials technology sector, materials engineering sector, or technology sector, or material science even. And what it actually, diffusion actually describes the spread of particles through random motion, usually from region of higher concentration to regions of lower concentration. Now we have to understand that higher concentration region to lower concentration region, the materials is moving. So now different nodes we have to concentrate. The time dependence of the statistical distribution in space is given by diffusion equation. Diffusion process, we are going to have lot of mathematical equations, and they are going to talk about statistical distribution based on inner space, based on time dependence. So if you check second point, the concept of diffusion is tied to that of mass transfer driven by concentration gradient, but diffusion can still occur when there is no concentration gradient. These two things you will learn. When concentration gradient is there, then diffusion is occurring. When it's not there, then also diffusion can occur. How these are the different cases we should understand. Then only we can understand what actually diffusion is. For that, little bit of thermodynamic exercise is required. Thermodynamic concept is essential. So suppose if you take atomic diffusion, then specifically you can tell that atomic diffusion is a diffusion process whereby the random thermally activated movement of atoms in a solid results in net transport of atoms. And why it is occurring? Because you can think of that it may occur due to the concentration gradient from higher concentration to lower concentration. So rate of diffusion transport is really governed by the diffusivity and concentration gradient. How? We can take an example. Suppose we are helium atom inside a balloon, can diffuse through the wall of the balloon and escape. If you put a balloon, we used to in the childhood days that purchase a very gas balloon and which will float upside because helium is lighter than air. So helium atoms, but when you are keeping the balloon for a long time, 1 month or 2 months, then the size of the balloon going to reduce. Why? Now the helium atoms inside the balloon can diffuse through the wall of the balloon and escape, and resulting in the balloon slowly deflating. And other air molecules have lower mobilities, thus diffuse more slowly through the balloon wall. So helium can go outside, but oxygen, nitrogen cannot go inside because their mobility is low. So now another concept is coming. One is concentration gradients, and the is mobility of that particular element, that particular atoms. So that is also important. So now we are going to get two kind of concept. One is mobility of particular elemental atoms and also the concentration gradient. There is a concentration gradient in the balloon wall because the balloon wall actually was initially filled with a helium. Thus there is a plenty of helium on the inside, but there is very little helium on the outside. So helium is so slowly going out from inside to outside. But same thing should occur because inside the gas balloon there is very less concentration in with respect to oxygen and nitrogen, but it is not happening. So there is a difference in the mobility of oxygen, nitrogen, and helium. So rate of transport of, then you have to consider that mobility as well as concentration gradient, and that's why rate of transport is governed or controlled by diffusivity and the concentration gradient. So now we will understand what is diffusion in solid. In a crystal solid state, diffusion within the crystal lattice, it can occur by either interstitial or substitutional mechanism. The position, how it, if it is knocked down one atom in the lattice point and get replaced by another atom, then it is a substitutional kind of mechanism. If it is go inside between two lattice point atom inside their void or in vacancy they take there, there is an interstitial kind of mechanism. So you can tell the lattice diffusion as a whole. The interstitial lattice diffusion, suppose carbon in iron alloy will diffuse in a between lattice structure of the another crystalline element. So if you talk about substitutional lattice diffusion, in case of substitutional lattice diffusion, you can take the cell diffusion of example. The atom can only move by substituting place with another atom. So substitutional lattice diffusion is often contingent upon the availability of point vacancy throughout the crystal lattice. You have to find out where the point vacancies are there. We'll understand, we'll discuss this kind of mechanism much more detail when we'll talk about atomic diffusion of atomic stick diffusion of atomic stick mechanism of diffusion. So diffusing particles migrate from point vacancy to one point vacancy to another point vacancy by rapid, but essentially random jumping. So you can tell that this is a jump diffusion. Okay. But we have to find out what is the driving force of the diffusion. So diffusion is driven by the decrease in Gibbs free energy, or you can tell that chemical potential difference. So it is not about the concentration gradient very precisely. It is basically the gradient or difference of chemical potential. And as a simple illustration, you can see, suppose in the figure, two blocks A and B are solid solution, but with different composition. A and B, one and two block are there. One block is rich with A and B, block number 2 is rich with B. Now they are having different composition, but they are both are solid solution. Now if you can put together, then from A rich section, A will go to B rich section and B will go to A rich section from B rich section. So what will happen in this process in the phase diagram? Suppose now in the free energy versus composition diagram, if you check, and then you can understand that case 1, For case 1, A goes from 1 to 2 and B goes from 2 to 1. You are talking about, we are just now we are believing that concentration gradient is important. Now we are trying to understand that. If you see, the Gibbs energy should go such a way, it should be lower point, that point it should go, that called GM point. And how it will go? When the A will go from A reach section to B reach section, and B will go from B reach section to A reach section. So the composition will be, the gradient will be slowly reduced. So the molar free energy diagram of that AB alloy, if you see in this molar free energy diagram, the molar free energy of each part, if you can given by G1 and G2, and the initial total free energy of the welded block is Ga. If you get that, it is a Ga. If you see, and upon the diffusion, what is happening? The total free energy decreases towards Ga. So diffusion actually helping to lowering the Gibbs free energy. So this is the driving force, the lowering the Gibbs free energy or reducing the chemical potential difference. And the total free energy decreases Gm, and the free energy characteristics of that homogeneous system, if you check, in this case, the decrease in free energy is produced by A and B diffusion along the concentration gradient. So there we can tell that along the concentration gradient, A and B diffused, and that diffusion helps in decreasing Gibbs free energy change. But if you take different thing, we can go to next slide. Here, diffusion is not along the concentration gradient, rather is along the chemical potential gradient, if you check that way. Suppose, however, diffusion needs not always be along the concentration gradient. This is very vital statement. Then only later on you will understand the uphill kind of diffusion. And for example, in the alloy system that contains a miscibility gap, we know from our subject of thermodynamics that what is miscibility gap. The free energy curve can have negative curvature at low temperature. If you see in the picture, the free energy curve can have negative curvature. In such case, A and B atom would diffuse against the concentration gradient. If you see, it can diffuse against the concentration gradient towards the region of high concentration. If you see in the picture, if you concentrate on the picture, you can understand that towards the region of high concentration, from the low concentration element actually going, and through the diffusion is still a natural and spontaneous process, as it reduces the total free energy from Ga to Gm same way. But here high concentration, from high concentration to lower concentration diffusion is not occurring. From lower concentration to high concentration diffusion is occurring. Still we are getting the lowering of Gibbs free energy, and that makes the process spontaneous, because del G should be negative for the spontaneous process, and here we are reducing the Gibbs free energy, so it is a natural and spontaneous process. So what is happening? From the figure we can understand that diffusion is not always along the concentration gradient, but diffusion is always along chemical potential gradient. Diffusion stops when chemical potential of all species everywhere are same. So the driving force, you can tell that difference of chemical potential. In most cases, chemical potential increases with the increasing concentration. That's why initial definition are there, that concentration gradient actually driving force for diffusion, because generally chemical potential increases with the increasing concentration, but it's not always true. So if somebody will ask now onwards what is the definition of diffusion, one should tell that movement of mass transfer based on the difference of chemical potential. So diffusion is always along chemical potential gradient. One should remember it. So now today class we understood what is diffusion and what is the real driving force or driving agent for the diffusion process. Thank you.